Kia ora te whānau, another video filling in a gap that I left last video, where I promised you that we were going to do something different with these 3 lines down here. These have appeared in practically, if not every video that we have run so far on Python Arcade, and it looks very different here than it does in the reference if you've used any of the references so far. They're doing something else, and I want to dig into that a little bit. Why is there the strange if statement down the bottom of all of the Python Arcade reference code examples? And you won't just find that in Python Arcade. You'll find that in pretty much all industry code written in Python. It's ubiquitous, as in it's used absolutely everywhere. But why? What is it doing? Why? What's up with this double underscore thing going on? It's all looking great. Okay, our code is starting to get quite long. Last video, and we're not really digging into what this code is actually doing this video, so it doesn't matter if you've done it or not. Last video, we made what was a reasonably simple program. All it was a character that could collide and be obstructed by some boxes. There were no coins, there was no score, there were no enemies, there was no scrolling, and even so, this program is starting to get really unwieldy. It's getting on 60 lines of code just for that. If you start to add all of these other components, it's going to get to be a honkin' program. And no one wants to read that. It's too long. So what you might do is you might pull out some part of this code and you might put that into another file or another module or some other structure that you're using to make your life a bit easier. We will actually be doing that in the future, not right today. Today we're going to show you the safeguard into how to not get that wrong. Okay, so say for example I wanted to pull out this here, that part which deals with player movement. I might be able to pull that out, stick it into a new file, called player movement up here, and then I would pull that back in using the import statement like we do up here. But if on the bottom of that file, like we have here, if I had these 3 lines of code just to check whether or not player movement was working, or if I run it, I wanted an arcade window to turn up just so I could debug that little code. If I had that in there, every time I imported that file, I would get a new window of arcade, and I don't want that. If I am only dealing with player movement, I only want to use that code in my main file here, which is why it's been okay in our main file when it's only been one file that we ignore it. But we want to make sure these 3 lines only run if this is the main Python file that we're using. How do we do that? Well, there are these hidden properties in this file, in our global scope, called name and main. Whenever I hit this play button, whenever I run, don't forget, this is just shorthand for running that file, executing that file down in the terminal. Whenever I run that, this is given a name, and its name is called main. So if I say if, and there's this double underscore name equals double underscore main. Oops, and of course that's double equals because we're checking for similarity. If name equals main, then run those 3 lines, please. This changes nothing about our program, but it does give some safety that if somebody imported walls.py into another game, another program, it wouldn't automatically run Python Arcade. It wouldn't automatically pop up that window, but you would still have access to all of this code, all of this logic. And I think next video will show you how to pull out some code, how to stick it into a new file, how to import it into this main file, and how to make sure that that if name equals main, all the way down here, how that there gives us a bit of a safety net to make sure that we don't have weirdness happening in our imports. All right, we'll see you there.